And welcome to Get Your Mindset. It's Monday morning. We're back again together, and this time I'm back in our lovely library. So I'll be setting up my space, but welcome everyone. Good morning. Monday morning. Weather's a little bit temperamental, but we're together. So lovely to have you guys here. Welcome. Come on into the space. So I'll be back with Philip today, which is really exciting. Hi, Emma. Hi, lots of Ginny's coming in, loads of you, welcome. So as ever guys, just as we're setting up the space, if you've not joined us before, this is a time to come together and set our intention for the week and look at a different theme and a different topic. And today we'll be looking at acceptance and the art of letting go. But before we begin, I just want you to take a moment to appreciate that you've turned up, you showed up for yourself, and I just want you to set the space around you to kind of reflect this self-care moment. So I've got some lovely candles behind me, so I'm going to light a candle. You might want to open a window to get some fresh air in. Just want you to take a moment. I've got a lovely candle here. It smells really nice as well. You might want to put out a room spray. You might just want to ground your feet and just acknowledge this morning and acknowledge this time, this next 15 minutes for yourself. Good morning, everyone coming in. It's so lovely to have you all with us today. Come on through. So just taking a moment, lighting a candle, bringing this forward. And just recognize that we can really bring an intention to our action. So even if it's a small movement of just something on your desk so that you feel clearer, just something for yourself. It might be shutting down your screen. You can feel free to close your eyes for this whole session and just listen to our words, but just taking this moment for you. Brilliant. Hi, Jessica, come on in. Emma's got her candle lit, fantastic. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm just going to lead you through a short mindful exercise as we wait for Philip to join us. And so what I'm going to ask you to do, so I just first of all want you to, if you're sitting down on a chair, I just want you to sit with your back straight. You might want to close your eyes. And I just want you to put your feet on the ground. And we're just going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Brilliant. And as we feel our feet on the ground, I want you now to hold your hand out in front of you and just witness your hand. And I want you to observe the balance in your hand right now. You might recognize the pull of gravity on your hand right now. I just want you to bring your focus into your body in this moment. So just observing the weight of your hand, the texture of your skin, and your fingers and your nails, and just witnessing this moment with your hand in front of you. And then I want you to place your hand down onto your thigh. I want you to close your eyes and just bring that awareness of your body inwards. And we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. You might want to place your other hand on your chest as we just come into our bodies, bringing our focus and awareness inwards, recognizing that we are safe in this moment. And when you're ready, I just want you to slowly open your eyes and come back into the space. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. So I'm going to bring Philip in on to the live. So we're just waiting for Philip to join. Hi, Philip. How are you doing?
Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone joining us today.
Yeah, we've got loads of people. It's really, really lovely. So we've set up our space, we've set our intention for this morning, and we've just done a really short mindful activity to bring us to the topic today of acceptance and the art of letting go. So Philip, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah, so today this is the final part of this series on self-care. And what we have to remember is self-care is a journey. It's not a destination. We just don't just do these mindfulness exercises and have these chats and we become a little bit more enlightened and that's it. We have to keep working at it. A bit like, as somebody once recently said, self-care is a bit like a leaky tire on a car or a bike. It's not enough to wreck it, but every so often you have to pay a bit of attention and give it a little bit of a pump. Otherwise, it is going to go flat. And once it's gone flat, you really do have to do a lot of work to do. So today we're going to talk about mindful acceptance. It brings together a lot of the topics we've had about communications and respect and assertiveness. And we're going to talk about it in terms of to accept or not accept. Where are we with that? And we're going to have a little chat about that. We're also going to talk about mindful acceptance of the here and now and look at the reality of the situation. Acceptance doesn't mean you're giving in. It just means you're accepting the situation as it stands at the moment. And as always, we're going to do I will give you some hints and tips just to give you some ideas that you might focus on. And at the end, we'll do a short mindfulness exercise, which brings everything we've talked about together.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. Thank you, Philip. And yeah, we were discussing, weren't we, in terms of that self-care, it's about being able to kind of recognize our relationship with that. So, in terms of our physical health, we'll brush our teeth daily, but we often find ourselves, we wouldn't say, oh, we've got to brush our teeth again. We accept that that's part of our daily routine and actually enjoy that kind of element of being able to look after ourselves. And so I think what our intention is throughout this whole series is just recognizing that actually giving us those moments and our relationship to those moments is recognizing that actually this is something really lovely that I can bring towards myself and awareness. And just as you say, top up as we go a little daily thing because it is a journey. So thank you for that, Philip. So yeah, let's start with acceptance. So
I'd like you to think about acceptance as a bit of a cycle. Right? And I'd like you to think about the idea of a coin. So coin, we often flip a coin, don't we? Want to make a decision. Coin is going to have on one side, you're not accepting. You may be in a bit of a denial about something. And once you flip it, magically, we would hope, the coin falls and it says accepted. No, not really. What we need is a little bit of a transition because acceptance means we've gone beyond understanding. It doesn't mean that we totally said, yes, I agree, but it's about accepting where we are at this given point. And I think the transition part of the cycle of not accepting is understanding what's going on, understanding what things may or may not be. Adding, I talk about sprinkling of reality. Because often people don't want to accept because they feel they're giving in and they're losing face and they think they have this special control over it. But actually real control is letting go over something that's really not that important, or at this point in time, it's not important enough to wreck a relationship, important enough to wreck a work scenario. It's not important enough to wreck your health, maybe, or whatever it might be. So I'd like you to think about reality. So what's going on in the moment? Recognizing that what's happened can't be changed. We can't undo that. So that's a bit of an understanding. I can't change that. And life is, as we know, over the year, especially a roller coaster. Things go up, they go down, they go sideways. Ultimately, nothing stays the same. You want to cement your feet in not accepting and denying something, it's going to make life much harder for you and those around you. So that's what I'd like to, as a starting point. And I know we had an earlier chat, and I really like the idea of this monkey trap that you highlighted to me. So maybe it'd be great to share that with people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So so they say that there's a clever way to catch monkeys. And so they have a coconut which has a hole at the end, and they put a banana within the coconut. And so the monkey puts their hand in and grips onto the banana. Now, the hole is too small that if the monkey remains with their fists really tight, they cannot get out. The only way in which the monkey can be freed is if they let go of the banana. and then they could easily move out. But often that's not the case. And I think it's a really important kind of symbolism for our minds. So often when we're holding on to something really tightly, that's when we're trapped. And actually the freedom of letting go is the first step towards that acceptance. And actually, in terms of that kind of physicality, even as you were speaking, Philip, then I was thinking, you know, that over need of trying to control, it's like a physical tension in our bodies as well, isn't it? It's like if I keep it all together, then I can hold it really tight and nothing will drop. But actually, it's when we let that freedom of acceptance come in that we physically relax, and also we allow that kind of movement, and as you say, that kind of fluidity, and the fact that things are ever changing, and the movement, if we're able to kind of flow with that and accept that, then there's kind of less tension. And that's the first step, isn't it, that we need to kind of practice that ability to be able to go, actually, I need to just, if I let go, that's where the freedom comes.
Absolutely. And what just sprung to my mind then was this idea that I sometimes talk with clients called the theory of interactionism. Everything is linked. If you have those difficult thoughts, I have to be in control, I'm not letting go, this has got to go my way, those thoughts translate into unhelpful emotions of anxiety or maybe anger. Okay. And that then reflects in how we behave. You can't work in isolation. So this is why self-care is so important, and mindfulness is so important, because once we're aware that we're doing these things, we only at that point have the opportunity to move on.
And recognize it in that moment. And so it doesn't have to necessarily escalate or build, as you say, because it's linked. And actually being able to sort of, you know, observe it earlier on in that chain and go, actually, I'm going to break that pattern. I'm going to break that sort of thought track. Yeah, absolutely. So bringing that awareness allows that moment of just coming back in and observing what is actually happening right here and right now.
Yeah, and I think moving on to the sort of idea of mind accepting the here and now, accepting also that there is a transition. You're not going to move from not accepting directly in. It's going to take, we're all different, aren't we? We all process things in different ways. We all react differently. And sometimes we've got a bit of a moral high ground going on. But actually, the real control comes when we can step off it and see the wider picture and see what's not only good for us, but what's good for other people. You know, so that's going to be really important. So some of the ideas I'd like you to think about here are acknowledging the reality of that moment. You know, for example, life isn't always, look at the last year, life isn't always comfortable. When we're in dispute, when things aren't right, we're going to feel very uncomfortable. Is that a situation we want to keep going, really, given what's going on? And actually just thinking logically, actually, is this end of the world scenario? No, it's annoyed us, it's a bit irritating. Let's just try and find a way to move forward. You know, we don't want to lose friendships. We don't want to lose situations at work where we lose our respect. Let's try and find ways of moving forward. And I think by understanding that there is a way to move forward, we can learn to express ourselves a little bit more easily. Instead of closing that door, shouting at people because you're in that state of anger or denial, actually just think that better to be in a state of healthy concern and anxiety. It's better to be slightly annoyed about it, let it go, rather than raging. And it's better to be disappointed with behaviour rather than feeling that bruised emotion of hurt. So I think those are some of the things I'd like you to think about. And also, given the times that we have at the moment, human fallibility came to mind. None of us are perfect. Doesn't matter who you look on TV, Instagram, Facebook, anyone, no one's perfect. We're all basically of the same composite material. We're just unique because there are energy in our minds. But when we hold perfectionism, that everything's got to be absolutely so, what I've noticed, it leads to rumination, thoughts going round and round, procrastination, not getting things done, of course, anxiety and stress, and at its worst, people get into panic. Panic attacks, panic disorder, which takes quite a lot of work to undo. So just think about reality. Think about these things are rarely end of world. Okay, so that's what I'd like to share. I know that we're on a time frame here. I'd just like to share some of my own hints and tips for you for this week. So as usual, I've got 3 things for you to think about. Where are you in the acceptance cycle? If we flip that coin, are you in denial Are you not accepting? Are you on the edge of acceptance and understanding? Or maybe you already start transitioning across into acceptance. Appreciation, this is really important, isn't it? We've talked about awareness just now. Acceptance is a destination that we arrive at. But it does take work, it does take a bit of consideration, and it takes time to understand the situation. It doesn't mean you've completely given in. It shouldn't be seen. It's just that you've accepted where you are at this point in time. And finally, compassion. Where would we be without the final bit of compassion? This road to acceptance can be very challenging, it can be very uncomfortable. But what I would suggest, words here are tolerance. We're all having to go through difficult times. Maintain perspective. Keep a sense of balance, okay? And realism. What's the reality of the situation? So that's my 3 hints and tips for this week.
And I think also they all allude to this kind of visual of just this journey. And it's like taking those steps, as you say, the kind of transition into learning acceptance within that moment. Also kind of acceptance that actually we will still kind of go to program reactions or slightly difficult emotions, and it's actually not punishing yourself in that moment and furthering it, but just accepting, okay, I'm feeling quite a lot of anger, for example, at this moment, and I accept that, but have an awareness of it. And so I hope that next time, actually, when I'm in that situation again, are there things that I can kind of bring in to support that? Can I reflect, or what was it that kind of built up to that? And that awareness just allows us to see things in sort of smaller increments. They don't feel so overwhelming, or as you say, escalate to a point where then it feels more out of control.
Yeah, I think you're right. The awareness is key, compassion is key, and the one I always talk about in the middle is the appreciation. We do have skills to get ourselves through life. We're here again today. We do have resources. Sometimes they're internal resources, sometimes they're external resources, such as people, or even maybe these chats might help people to think things through. So actually appreciate, you can get through difficult times. In fact, we've got through the last year. For us, most of us may never see another version of this ever again, hopefully, but we have got through it, most of us. And, you know, to be appreciative of that is really important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Philip. So
Good.
now you're going to guide us through?
Yeah, I'm going to do a short mindfulness meditation about acceptance. This is what it's going to be all about, mindful acceptance. So just take a moment to get yourself comfortable, and in your own time, just close your eyes. And as always, start to focus on your breathing. Slowly breathing in, slowly breathing out. And even these short mindfulness exercises, or even if you just do breathing, they all form part of your self-care ritual. The art of go, the art of managing yourself. So, in terms of awareness of your thoughts, just take a moment to find something that you're trying to accept. Maybe you're finding it challenging. No need to be judgmental or critical about your position at this point in time. Just observe your thoughts. Observe how you're feeling. Perhaps there's some resistance or negativity or even judgment. But actually, you know, there's a transition. It's about moving on, isn't there? Rather than getting stuck. So, for example, if you're feeling angry, just sit with that emotion. Be aware that anger is often typified as having internalized feelings of frustration. So we often get frustrated with people and ourselves. Or maybe we have broken personal rules, that we have high expectations that people or situations should be so, and they often aren't, and that just exacerbates us. So just sit with those feelings, just be aware of the link between your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. Appreciate that acceptance sometimes takes time to be fully processed. We often struggle to let go of things we can't control. And moving to a position where you accept the reality of a situation may need to be done in stages. As we said, there's a cycle, isn't there? Where we're in a bit of denial, We need to move to understanding. We can move to acceptance. Important to recognize that what's already gone past and happened, we can't change. Ruminating isn't going to improve. Instead, what we can do is move forward, develop our understanding, develop our sense of reality about the situation. Allow ourselves to gradually move forward rather than being stuck in a metaphorical concrete. And while we're doing all of this, okay, being compassionate, kind to ourselves, that sometimes these situations are difficult emotionally. It can be helpful to discuss how you feel with somebody who you trust and whose opinion you value. And having that sense of external balance and perspective can help us get on track and prevent us getting stuck in those emotions such as anger, anxiety, hurt, or even guilt or shame. So to finish today's mindfulness session, these are the 3 hints and tips just to remind yourself. Where are you in the cycle of acceptance? This is about awareness. In terms of appreciation, acceptance is a destination we arrive at, but we still have to make the journey. And compassion, the road to acceptance can be challenging and uncomfortable, but try and embrace it with a bit more tolerance, a bit more perspective, and a sprinkling of realism. So take that final breath in now, just become more aware of your body, refocus yourself back in the present moment. Just become aware of your body, take a final breath in again, and then in your own time, you can just open your eyes.
Thank you so much, as ever, Philip. And just really reflecting on those words, it's just reminding ourselves that we can just come in, and sometimes acceptance is just taking that breath in, isn't it? And out, and just trying to remind ourselves that that freedom comes from the letting go. So thank you so much for your words of wisdom, as ever, and for loads of people joining us today. It's really exciting to have such a beautiful community come together and reflect. And so thank you, everyone. We can see the hearts pouring in. It's really lovely. And as ever, we will put this on our IGTV and we'll pin the tips down. And so, yeah, so please do comment and let us know what else you'd like to see from these sessions. But as ever, really, know that you always have these to go back to if you want to kind of set an intention again. And as we say, it's a daily practice. So we're all learning and honing in those skills. So thank you so much. Thank you, Philip.
My pleasure. Lovely to see you all.
And we'll see you all very soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.